This week in games, the industry is challenged with layoffs across media and game development. Xbox prices are going up, and Grand Theft Auto 6 is delayed to next year. If only someone could have predicted that, Connor. This is the Two Penny Gamescast. What's poppin', players? Welcome back to the Two Penny Gamescast, episode 249. I am your host, Tavin Bothel, here with my good friend and co-host. Say hello to the people, Connor Elliott.
Hello, everybody. Welcome on this beautiful, spirited Monday. Tuesday when you're watching it.
Connor, how's your week been?
I got diagnosed with psoriasis.
Okay, we're digging into that. Okay,
I paid money for my car that had broken down. And then we just did a review that we have to redo again.
Yeah.
So it's all in the context of a week, I would say. So, yeah.
You're having a tough year.
Turns out, with the psoriasis, this is the first time I'm like, okay, I wish I didn't have to deal with this.
Yeah.
I wish that was a non-disease.
See, it was the other stuff from last week that I was like, oh, he's having a hard time right now. You know? On top of everything that you've been dealing with for the last several years. You know what I'm saying?
You know, I keep on fucking trucking.
You're a soldier. You know, and you don't even really show it on your face, really.
I'm not a wear and tear kind of like. Oh, I get to go.
Well, I think you're just one of those guys that these things only bother you when they're directly affecting you in that moment, and then once you're past it, you're like,
yeah, that's generally what
you're one of those guys. You know,
I cannot think of things that are beyond my sphere.
Yeah.
The moment it is, why give thought?
You're not really someone where the thing builds.
Yeah.
You know?
Closest to that is politics when I focus on that.
Sure.
But other than that, I don't really.
Yeah. Like for me, if it's like, if I have like 7 things going on in my life and all of them are stressing me out, fucking, you coming in and poking the bear makes me like go like, all right, fucker. Like that type of shit. You know, not really you. I don't think I've ever done that for you. You know what I'm saying? Or if like we get into a heated debate about whatever topic or whatever, I'll get mad and like start throwing shit. Not at me. But never at you. Never at you. It's always usually just down.
Yeah.
And it's usually a pen. I usually just grab it because I'm like I love to grab a pen and shake it, you know?
You like handling pens.
But if I'm mad at you, if I'm mad about 7 other things going on in my life, that will affect how I interact with other people if a conversation gets beyond just a normal conversation.
Yeah.
I think I'm usually emotionally intelligent enough to be able to separate these things, but
the barriers come down at a certain point.
If you push me to being not mad, but if you push me to being animated, energetic, passionate about a topic, it'll turn into anger because other things are affecting it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I see what you mean.
Yeah.
We're all
not really a thing.
No. See, there are benefits to having a simple mind, stronger mind. Some might say.
You know what the deficit of it is, though? Is you think puzzle design in Breath of the Wild is good. Like,
they're fun, yes.
I mean, they're good. They're good puzzle designs, but, they're also meant for fucking...
They are.
The intellect of a 12-year-old. Not 12-year-olds. Intellect of them.
Same thing.
No.
Because
often 12-year-olds can rise above their own intellect.
Some can, but when you say the intellect of a 12-year-old, you're acknowledging there's a standard at 12 years old.
I was a stronger reader when I was 12 than I am today.
That's because you stopped doing it. But most people don't read nowadays, so that's just you. People don't mostly read then, I don't think.
I read. I mean, I don't read books.
Yeah.
But I read, news.
Which is what we're here to talk about.
Which is why we're here today, ladies and gentlemen. This is, of course, the Two Penny Gamescast. Each week, me and Connor come to you with the nerdy news you need to know concerning the video game industry. We each come to you with 2 topics, 2 pennies, if you will, and we give you our 2 cents on them. Now, we haven't really been doing news episodes lately because there hasn't been a lot of news. That changed this week. That changed.
Not the most heavy, but
the topics are heavy.
Yeah.
So we're in for a heavy and depressing conversation coming up here because, of course, lots of layoffs happening in all facets of the industry, which is very disappointing to see. And then, some more price changes with the Xbox stuff and going on. But at the end, we do get to talk about video games. We are going to talk about video games at the end of this episode. That's exciting. That's why we're here. That's a great time. But it's just important that we talk about the important stuff first.
Yeah.
Right? And you can catch this show every Tuesday, 8 a.m. Central Time, youtube.com/@TwoPennyGames, and mainstream podcast services of your choice. You can also catch us live every Monday afternoon, twitch.tv/TwoPennyGames, where we record all of our shows the Gamescast, the Piggy Bank, the Game Club, our monthly video game book club, in which if you were live, you probably could have warned me that Phil's mic wasn't recording, and we could have caught that in the middle. So please come watch us live so I don't do dumb shit like that, and we'd lose 2 hours of a great recording session that we got to re-record on Thursday now. So if you don't see your game club like it was scheduled to be at the end of this episode or broken out on youtube.com/@TwoPennyGames, that's why. So please come watch us live so that doesn't happen anymore, because it's happening more than I would like it to happen.
It's a demoralizing moment. This more so than the others.
Dude, this one was painful.
This
one was painful, you know?
Very rarely. We've never this long.
No.
We've had to redo all of that.
I think the worst we've had is 50 minutes to an hour.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. So this is the 4th time I think it's happened. Or we've had to do it all over again. Yeah. There have been times where I caught it 15 minutes into it and fixed it, and then had to go back and do a re-edit. I think the Doom 2016, your mic was fucked up for the first 20 minutes, but then we recorded a little segment after it and stuck it in there in the edit and so forth. That was impossible for this because it was so much of a conversation. It was so long. So yeah, we're gonna have to figure out something else with that. Hopefully the quality comes out the same. If you are curious about what we are playing next month, so that you don't lose those precious few days of time, because there's a lot of great games that we all want to play: Clair Obscur, Expedition 33, Doom: The Dark Ages, etc., etc. We are playing next month Metal Gear Solid 4: Guns of the Patriots. If you've been watching the show, you know that. If not, that's what we're playing. Hey, you should play along with us and meet us next month so that you can talk to us about Metal Gear Solid 4: Guns of the Patriots. It's all right.
You know more than I do.
It's certainly better than Breath of the Wild. It's not the strongest hill I'm going to die on, but it's where I do land, but it's not a hill that I'm going to die on.
We'll see where that goes.
It's not like one that it's not a hill that I'm going to die on, because it's not even going to be part of the conversation because things. Anyways, subscribe, keep an eye out for all of that, and make sure you drop a comment down below and get your 2 pennies in on the show next week so that we can get an audience 2 pennies going. Please make sure you drop a comment and all of that great stuff. Connor, let's get into our first topic of the day.
Get into it.
I'm going to take this first one here, and this one's real disappointing, ladies and gentlemen, so stick with me as we get into some heavy stuff. So, video game media sites Polygon and Giant Bomb face restructuring following layoffs and buyouts. Gaming-centric news sites Giant Bomb and Polygon underwent massive changes this week, with Giant Bomb laying off a number of important reporters due to a strategic reset, while Polygon owner Vox Media sold their video news site to Canadian media sold their video news site to Canadian media company Valnet. I don't know how I messed that up, but it is what it is. Valnet. Giant Bomb's layoffs occurred following comments made by now departed Giant Bomb's cast host Dan Reichart and reporter/co-host Jeff Grubb, wherein they poked fun at new fandom guidelines on a now removed episode of the podcast. Speaking with Kotaku, fandom confirms that, the departures citing, quote, a strategic reset and realignment of our media brands. Jeff Grubb subsequently took to X, formerly known as Twitter, confirming the layoff, writing, quote, well, that was a dream come true. Knew it wouldn't last, though. Out of a job at the moment. He would go on to promote his Game Mess podcast shared with Giant Bomb contributor Mike Minotti, who declared he will no longer write for the site, writing on Blue Sky, quote, needless to say, I will no longer be contributing to Giant Bomb. Giant Bomb's account eventually posted to Blue Sky, writing, quote, we understand your frustration and appreciate your patience. We're actively exploring creative directions for the future of GB and look forward to sharing more with you soon. Meanwhile, Vox Media's selling of Polygon to Valnet, owner of gaming media sites Game Rant, The Gamer, DualShockers, Hardcore Gamer, Fextra Life, and Open Critic, will result in layoffs and team transitioning to the new owner, as well as Vox Media's other gaming news network, The Verge. Quote, making this challenge allows us to better prioritize our strongest opportunities for growth, Vox Media CEO Jim Bankoff said in a note to staff on Thursday. Quote, the sale also helps reduce risk related to the uncertain economic outlook, with our top priority always being in the long-term strength of the company. Recent years have involved a number of video game news sites closing and conducting layoffs, including the beloved publication Game Informer in 2024 that has subsequently, Jesus, can you tell I've been recording for 3 hours?
Yeah.
Subsequently revived by developer Gunzilla Games. The year prior to that, Kotaku saw G.O. Media, G.O.?
GO Media, yeah. That's how I read it.
Okay. GO Media cut 23 jobs following the hiring of former editor-in-chief Jen Glennon.
You had talked to me before.
Yeah.
Give you a little bit of insight into the podcast here.
Little conversations that we have about our brand.
Yes, because Tavin had the idea, and I, wasn't hardline ascribing to it, but it certainly made sense, was to get picked up by somebody, right?
That was the initial idea.
Yeah.
Is that this platform, TwoPennyGames, that we do on YouTube and mainstream podcasting platforms, right, was to be set as a base, us to pick up and learn skills, develop our on mic, on camera talents, and develop sort of a portfolio that we could take to other sites and other platforms that could platform us and boost us and put us into the gaming conversation sphere that we desire to be in. Now, what form that took place, we didn't know. Of course, Connor, your talents lie in writing and journalism. Of course, the story I just read was written by you. Make sure you subscribe to our Substack, TwoPennyGamesNews.substack.com, where you can read all of the articles that Connor writes out for the weekly news.
Try to.
This week we only got to the first two news sites, but it's fine because the others aren't hard news. They're more just number-based, so we can just talk about that, right? Yeah. So make sure you subscribe to the Substack for that. And we are entering our 5th year of doing this. We started this in July.
It was 2020, July.
Of 2020.
Because July was when Halo Infinite News was coming out.
Yeah.
It was delayed,
I got delayed.
At that time.
Yeah. And so when we started it, this was seen more as like getting our feet wet, developing our talents, and a portfolio to build so that, a dream for a long time was for me to be hired by a Kinda Funny / Rooster Teeth Productions type thing. One of those has fallen away entirely. Mm-hmm. I think Kinda Funny has sort of plateaued into sort of being this smaller company that they want to be in, which is great for them. So it's just hard for things like that to happen. I think Connor had aspirations of doing the same or developing this platform or just writing as a freelance writer for other sites and so forth. In that sense, as we have continued to cover video game news, and we've seen how treacherous this industry is, especially in the last couple of years, right?
Specifically in the games creation side of things.
Yeah.
But the media, as I've
the media has been happening left and right as well. I mean, Imran Khan is one of my favorite writers and personalities in games, and he's been laid off, I think, twice since we've started doing this, which is unfortunate because he is super talented, right? And so I just think we are...
To double down on that,
yes.
Jeff Grubb was the powerhouse at Giant Bomb. If you go on there,
he was the reason to go.
Yeah, he was the main guy there.
Yeah,
and
shout out to Dan Reichart and Mike Minotti, who are also great.
But a lot of employees there were really angry at him being screwed over by the executives because he did the job great. He's amazing at it, and the fact that he got fired,
he brought that site headlines. He brought that site coverage. He brought that site eyes. People were tuning into his podcasts all the time to get new news that he would leak out and so forth, or tease out rather. He never really leaked things, but he would tease things and say, hey, I'm hearing XYZ thing, or he would if things would shut down,
he'd get the scoop.
I can't. The number of times he shut down Titanfall 3 rumors, and that turned out to be true. We're going to talk about possible Titanfalls and Respawn in a minute here as well. All of that to say, it's clear to me now, even though it comes with its own level of treachery and lack of security, it's clear to me now that at least in the media space, independence is the way.
Yeah, and I mentioned politics earlier. That's been something, not in the same way, that's been very invested in the political side of YouTube and podcasting, where a lot of money's gotten injected into it by special interest groups, and so people are more motivated by that rather than the dialogue, the conversations to have regarding a specific industry itself. Yeah. It just, it also brings with it, I think the better part about doing this is it brings about freedom. Because it seems like Jeff Grubb wasn't fired because they needed to cut certain staff. He was fired because him and Dan Reichart made fun of the company. They spat in their faces. I don't know what the new guidelines were.
Now, granted, if you work for a company, you shouldn't do that.
Exactly. But it shows that they're, incredibly, what's the word? Not self-centered, but incredibly,
bold?
Not even bold. More like, I'm not talking about Jeff Grubb. I'm talking about the company.
Oh,
yeah,
got you.
It's very self-conscious. Like, oh, you're saying bad things. Well, we're gonna fire you, ignoring that he did all of this work for them.
Now, you shouldn't mock the company that you're working for. Not on a public platform.
Which makes me like Jeff Grubb even more. Like, just like
I mean, sure,
right
yeah. Listen,
okay.
he's standing on business as he should, as I would expect a Jeff Grubb to do,
Yeah.
right? All of that to say, and this is not like the light switch thing. I have had this feeling about our platform for a while, like well over a year, probably 2, where it's no longer about being noticed by somebody else. It's about building. So, ladies and gentlemen, I invite you to make sure you subscribe. Soon we're going to be developing ways in which you can help monetize the channel. Please, if you can, please do that. I know times are really tough right now. We're going to talk about that a little bit later as well. The price of everything is going up. But if it's possible, when the ability to monetize comes up, please help us out and help us turn our dreams into realities in that form, because we would really, really like to expound on what we're already doing and develop new creative things that we've always wanted to do, but we just don't have the time to do because we are balancing work and life and doing this on the side. It takes a lot of time. Yeah. Yep. So, if you can, right now, just your eyes is enough. Just your, a little bit of your time is enough. We would really appreciate that. Make sure you hit subscribe. Maybe drop a comment down below. Let us know what you think about the channel, what we can improve. Let us know what you think about the topics of the day and how you feel about what we bring up on all these things. It would really, really mean a lot, because right now the goal is to make TwoPennyGames a new platform that you can go to. 1, for gaming news, and 2, for personality-driven media, and 3, and most importantly in my eyes, the evolution of cultural conversation around video games.
And what you said was true. Please talk to us. We talked about giving our own audiences 2 pennies and bringing them on the podcast itself.
We've done it a couple of times.
Yeah, but just it's not as prevalent because we don't have the most.
We're very small.
We're very, very small. But also come into those comments if you're trying to argue with us, to fight with us, to be
please
insulting to us.
Oh, I love it.
Yes. This is the internet, Tavin. You have to realize where we're coming from here, and we have to. Those are the best parts about the internet. That's where the great stuff really resides, and just the hate.
I'll say, if you see a comment from TwoPennyGames or me personally, and it's not a full sentence, I'm trolling you probably, or
you don't care.
I don't have anything to say. It's not that I don't care. I always care. It's not that I don't have, it might just be, I don't have anything to say, and it might just be, thanks for the support, a little thumbs up. That's me being genuine. But if I'm being, like, snarky or snidey to you, I'm probably just trolling you, and I really don't care. But, that's just sort of how I interact with comments. But if you see full, complete sentences from me, it's because I really enjoy your feedback, and I want to interact with you more. And I'll, likely, if you get that, you're likely going to be in a topic in the next episode. If we remember to do it, which we should, but we haven't in a while. So I should be better about that. There's a lot we need to be better about. And hopefully we're going to turn it on and show you throughout the rest of 2025 that we are the platform to show support to from the ground level and build us up. So
look at this, Tavin. We were talking about the news, and we made it about ourselves.
We made it about us. No,
that's
so
okay.
Let's focus 100% on, let's take Giant Bomb first. As you said, Jeff Grubb and his co-host, that was the reason for Giant Bomb. So even though Giant Bomb still exists, the canceling of those shows, the benching of Jeff Grubb and friends, that's a huge mistake. That's Giant Bomb is dead.
I don't think it's going to live much longer unless they get some personality who's as good as those guys were, as Jeff Grubb was.
Good luck.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to get that, especially when you screw over one of your guys so obviously.
Yeah.
Who's going to? I guess some people don't have principles and they want to because money, but.
Look what happened to The Escapist.
Yeah.
The Escapist was a site in a magazine that people went to for personality-driven content all the time. It's where Jim Sterling, do they still go by Jim? I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know what they go by either. I don't even know I think they're they them right now.
Oh, they are.
Yeah. So I think forgive me, Jim, if that's a dead name. I'm sorry. But Jim Sterling was a huge figure when I was growing up. Zero punctuation reviews were really, really entertaining and really well constructed and made. And I thought those were great. And they kept screwing over their personalities, so their personalities kept leaving, and the audience went with them. And so, that's what I see Giant Bomb doing now. You're screwing over your personalities. The audience is going to follow them, especially a beloved figure like Jeff Grubb. Like, you think You think all the eyes and attention that he brought you is going to stay? Who do you have that's going to bring you that? And you have to remember, Jeff Grubb is more than just a personality. He is established. He's got connections. He talks to developers, to high-up executives. He's got them in his phone that he can text them, you know? That is valuable, and you're throwing that away. Yep. And that's a huge mistake on that one. Is that one Vox Media or is that the...
Oh, that's Fandom.
That's Fandom. So Fandom, you fucked up.
And they're very well known for just if you've gone to the Fandom sites at some point. Somebody has. Ads galore. It's cluttered. It's really not that great of a site. They milk it for all it's worth. They clearly do.
Yeah.
Vox Media, not so much. This isn't as egregious, but... it's still not good, because...
I don't see how this was a valuable acquisition from anybody's side. Vox Media has enough platforms that they don't need a Polygon. Polygon is only going... I think Polygon's being sent here to die, as well. I think both these platforms are gone because Polygon, 1, took the most amount of hits, it seems, with the layoffs and so forth. And 2, Vox Media has plenty of websites already that already provide what Polygon does.
Well, that's more ValNet that does. They have all of those sites that were listed before. Vox Media only has The Verge. So they're putting some of their people from Polygon onto The Verge. It's down there for a little bit.
Vox Media is selling a Polygon to ValNet owner. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, you're right. Yeah. Vox Media sold Polygon. But I don't see how that benefits Vox Media except getting a quick buck. It definitely doesn't help Polygon, and I don't understand how it helps ValNet because ValNet has Game Rant, The Gamer, Dual Shockers, Hardcore Gamer. I don't know if Extra Life.
Extra Life's a lot of more tips and things like that.
Okay, yeah. and then Open Critic, which isn't a news site, it's a review aggregate site. So that's a separate thing. But Game Rant does news and does it well. But they also do top 10 lists and things like that.
The Gamer's more about that.
The Gamer is solely focused on that. Dual Shockers does both. So what is Polygon going to provide ValNet that they don't already have in terms of value, other than we can beef up our staff a little bit more and maybe cover a little bit more. But hey, there's not a lot of money going around, especially on the media side. So what are we doing here?
I can see ValNet firing people in the near future. Maybe even getting rid of some of, because they have so many publications, getting rid of some of them and putting them underneath the Polygon brand, because that's one of the bigger ones out there. People know what Polygon is. Not everybody knows what Dual Shockers is. Not everybody knows what Hardcore Gamer is. I can't even remember what they specialize in. But I can see them wanting to get to a point where they want to consolidate things under one media company, because they clearly just have so many. News site. Because they have so many others.
Yeah, I agree with you. I definitely see a lot of these brands probably getting umbrellaed under one brand and so forth. So, and I mean, I'm sure that'll benefit some things, but at the end of the day, it just feels like the less sites we have, the less personalities we have, the less opinions we have, the worse this is for, 1, the state of games media, but 2, and most importantly, the state of games culture. It's important to be able to have these free-flowing ideas of people who know what they're talking about and who can come with different perspectives, and to consolidate, to make it all one thing. Sucks.
We'll see how they develop their business model going forward, but I just hope because they like I said, they were moving some to The Verge. I hope they saved as many as possible. I know that's not their goal, so I don't have faith in them. It's more just I hope the chances were in the favor of the employees who were laid off, because it's not so nice.
It's not nice. And speaking of not nice, Connor, we're going to move on to our second topic of the day. This is going to be your first penny of the day. Can you go ahead and take it away, my friend?
Easily can. Electronic Arts lays off upwards of 400 employees while canceling Titanfall extraction game. If you thought the media space was bad. Electronic Arts.
I mean, it is.
It is. It's not comparable. It's not. It's not comparable. It's just not. With how many fucking raw numbers?
Raw numbers, you're correct, but I think that's just because there's more jobs in game development than there is in games media.
That's true. We see this news. We also see these news reels more common of some studio.
Again, because I think there's just more of them.
Yeah, I guess.
If you have more opportunity to disappoint, you're going to disappoint more.
Fair. Continuing onwards, Electronic Arts, EA.
Really negative way to say that.
It is very negative, but more cold rationale is how I would put it. Cut somewhere between 300 and 400 jobs across the company this past Tuesday, citing an often heard justification of realignment for future growth, while also canceling a Titanfall project, according to Bloomberg's Jason Schreier. When I say this past Tuesday, you'll be listening to this on the Tuesday.
Last week.
That is the last week Tuesday. Quote, as part of our continued focus on our long-term strategic priorities, we've made select changes within our organization that more effectively align teams and allocates resources in service of driving future growth, said EA spokesman Justin Higgs. Schreier detailed the canceled Titanfall title, which was codenamed R7, reporting that the game was far from being finalized. This supposedly comprised one of two canceled projects, as an X, formerly Twitter, post from EA subsidiary and Titanfall developer Respawn Entertainment elaborated on. Quote, as we sharpen our focus for the future, we've made the decision to step away from two early-stage incubation projects and make some targeted team adjustments across Apex Legends and Star Wars Jedi. The post reads, these decisions aren't easy, and we are deeply grateful to every teammate affected. Their creativity and contributions have helped build Respawn into what it is today. We're offering meaningful support to those impacted, including exploring new opportunities within EA. End quote. EA unveiled in January they'd be lowering their 2025 expectations after disappointing sales from EA Sports FC 25 and Dragon Age The Veilguard, with the latter having some of its BioWare developers shifted onto other projects within EA. Among those laid off were employees at British game developer Codemasters, responsible for franchises such as Overlord and Dirt, who were acquired by EA in 2021. With the layoffs came the announcement that Codemasters would end its partnership with the World Rally Championship, WRC, and the halting of future rally games, which they've developed since 1998. Codemasters will also have some employees moved on to other titles in EA Sports. Quote, as a business, we are constantly evolving to meet the growing needs of our players and driving greater focus across our portfolio, an EA spokesperson told Video Game Chronicles, VGC, on Saturday. This has led to us to look at reducing some roles while we redeploy as many as possible against our strategic priorities. Blah, 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 blah. We want to save money, cut jobs, fuck them.
All right, well, this one wasn't... This one... Yes, all right, yeah. Fuck these executives cutting all these jobs, hurting all these people. It's a general thing, right? Right, and this is the result of poor planning based off of the economic boom that we saw in the games industry because of the pandemic. More people were home, buying games, playing games, because they had the time and the money to do so, right? And so when that stopped and the shrinkage occurred, none of these big publishers planned or prepared for this as well as they should have. Now, when it comes to EA doing this, not the most unexpected thing, like you said in your article here, EA FC 25, which formerly known as FIFA, was EA's biggest player in their portfolio. That game would make billions of dollars for them. And it's been said before, FIFA did so well that it allowed them to do a bunch of different initiatives that allowed a lot of great games to come to market that otherwise wouldn't have. Unraveled is a case of that. It Takes Two is a case of that. What was it? The EA Play, or was that their thing? I forget what the EA initiative was called that like allowed them to go to these smaller developers and produce smaller titles for us to enjoy in that sense. But when EA FC 25 fails to produce, when a game that was in development hell and cost a bunch of money, Dragon Age The Veilguard, failed to produce results.
Most of the onus being put on EA Sports FC. They said that in their report. But yes. Still, it obviously hurt.
I mean, Dragon Age was a big project. That game needed to see success, and it just didn't. Which is unfortunate because despite the backlash and the reception to that game, not a terrible game. Pretty deep, pretty even good game. Just not up to the standard that we would like BioWare titles to be. But we have both said it multiple times. This is a step in the right direction. We're hoping Mass Effect 4 or 5, whatever you want to call it, whatever it turns out to be, whatever that project turns out to be, we hope that project, if it makes it to market, is an even greater step in the right direction and kind of brings BioWare back to the glory that we want to hold it to. All of that said, because of those big two titles failed to deliver, I think we even said it when we covered that news story, there's going to be some layoffs. Now, it's unfortunate that it happened very heavily at EA's new golden child, Respawn, makers of Titanfall 1 and 2, Apex Legends, and the Star Wars Jedi games, which Apex Legends and the Jedi games have seen massive success. And so to see them take, nearly a third of the brunt of this round of layoffs is disheartening and upsetting. And to hear about another Titanfall game canceled. This marks like 3 or 4 in the last couple of years.
It's cursed franchise.
It really is, and it's unfortunate because Titanfall 1 and 2 were great games.
Yes.
We need to retire Titanfall. It's just not going to happen. Like, I just don't see a way that this could be. Now, EA had something like 13,000, 14,000 employees under its belt. That's a lot of people. Like, you normally don't see under that. So them tightening the belt and making these cuts, I can understand it, especially if with how uncertain the industry is right now. Just battening down the hatches, I kind of get it. I'm not saying I agree with the decision. I'm not saying this isn't heartbreaking. I'm not saying this isn't unfortunate and from some perspectives disgusting. Absolutely it is. But Respawn for a long time has had 2 strong pillars. Apex Legends being one pillar and the Jedi games being another pillar. And they've been searching for a third pillar for a long time. And for pretty much the entire time, this third pillar has been an attempt to revive Titanfall in some way or another. Whether it was a new single-player game in the Titanfall universe that got canceled. Whether it was another Star Wars game with more Titanfall-esque elements to it that got canceled. Whether it was now this Titanfall extraction shooter that didn't seem to make it very far in the development process, but has also been canceled. Also, that's not what we want. Nobody wants a Titanfall extraction shooter. So I think it's probably best that this thing got canceled anyway.
Yeah.
And them going, all right, let's just focus on our 2 pillars. Let's figure out how to make Apex Legends return to being the most poppinest battle royale game on the market, which I don't think they've declined in quality. I think they've just kind of plateaued.
Yeah, people don't talk about, like, it was already a saturated field at the time.
Oh, Apex kind of is the thing that saturated it.
It did, yeah, and it still was able to be one of the standout ones in that kind of game.
I still think it's the best.
Oh, I'd agree with you, actually. But it just, when have you heard their new big thing recently?
It's been a minute.
It's been a bit, yeah.
It's been a minute.
So it makes sense they would want to shore up more of it rather than try and go do things that, in this time period.
Now, what does that look like? Is it just another big update? Is it an Apex Legends 2 in some way to reignite interest from the fan base? Again, they still pull numbers. There's something like like over 100,000 concurrents on Steam for Apex Legends every day.
Yep.
Which is just Steam alone. Those are healthy numbers. And you bring in the other 2 major platforms into that host Apex Legends, because Apex Legends isn't on Nintendo Switch as far as I know.
No.
That'd be crazy if it was.
Well.
But PlayStation, Xbox platforms, I'm sure are also bringing in massive numbers for Apex Legends as well. So it's by far not a dead game just by raw numbers. It doesn't have the industry's interest right now. Like, we're just quiet on it, but that doesn't mean they're not quality, right? And then Star Wars Jedi, get that 3rd game out, make sure it's high quality. Hopefully they deliver a more polished product than they have the last 2 times, but 2 starts a pattern.
By the way, it is on Nintendo Switch.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Good for Switch, man.
Yeah, right, they got it.
So yeah, I think getting this 3rd Jedi game out is probably a huge priority. We do have this Bit Reactor / Respawn Star Wars Zero company coming out hopefully soon, which is a tactics strategy game that I think looks good. We haven't really talked about it on the show yet. Have you seen the footage for Zero Company?
I have not.
It looks good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
XCOM people, I can trust them.
Former XCOM people.
XCOM people, yes.
So yeah, I think it looks good. It kind of looks like the Star Wars XCOM game that I've kind of always wanted a little bit.
Yeah.
So we're gonna see if they deliver on that promise. With that, of course we haven't seen much, so we still gotta wait and see more.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited for that. So I think those projects are enough to kind of keep Respawn busy for a little while. And I think unfortunately these cuts that they make in order to just ensure quality long term, I think these are, I don't want to say necessary, but smarter cuts. Cuts that make a little bit more sense than what we've seen in the past.
My issue is the massive amount of people they laid off.
I feel for them.
Yep.
I pray. I feel for and I pray. They got my thoughts. I hope they land on their feet. I hope they find new jobs that add them security. I hope they don't have to uproot their family and move. And I hope they stay in the industry as much as they can. This industry right now is facing a lot of people who are leaving it because they're super disheartened in it.
Yeah.
understandably so. This fucking sucks.
It doesn't matter if you do a good job. In some cases, you could still get laid off.
100%.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, Respawn is a great example of this. I'm sure whatever they've been baking and continuously getting canceled, I'm sure every project that's been canceled at Respawn had potential. They're a very talented team. They're more versatile than you would expect coming off of just the two Titanfall games. The Jedi games are great action adventure Metroidvania styled games. Like, they're great. So for them to be able to be that versatile is super impressive. I'm sure. I have no doubt that whatever they were making, they could have made something really special with that. But now I think it's just time to let's just focus on these two things.
And we'll see how that plans out for them.
Now, the rest of EA is upsetting because, to me, the rest of EA is just turning into, we have our exceptions to the rule with Hazelight Studios with Split Fiction, which has been a major success this year, right? I think that's probably going to be it when we start talking EA on the smaller side is just Hazelight. And how small is Hazelight now? I don't know. Every game they release, it seems like we're
bigger and bigger and bigger.
We got to upgrade them to that full-blown AAA status. Maybe not so much with Split Fiction, but maybe coming with their next game, I would say, is probably a good idea of where they're going to be. Or maybe they just continue putting out these size projects, which is probably healthy. But I think that's all we're going to see from EA. From here, Battlefield, FIFA. That's it.
Yeah.
And why do we want more Battlefield?
I do. I think this next one's going to be good.
And they better fucking, if they fucking better if we're going to turn fucking Motive Studios into just a Battlefield support studio. A waste.
What's wrong with that?
Waste. Dead Space was awesome. Star Wars Squadrons was awesome. The flight aspects of Battlefront 2 were cool.
Didn't make money. Didn't make money. So what do you want? What do you want from people?
Dead Space did make money.
I know it did.
It didn't make enough money.
That's the
stupid.
key thing here. You're sick. Oh well. I'm becoming numb to it pretty much. Like, yep, another layoff. When's the next one gonna hit?
I mean, it's hard not to feel that way, right?
Yeah.
So, and speaking of things that just make us feel numb, Connor, we're gonna move on to our third topic of the day. This is gonna be my second penny, even though the third penny or the final penny's I don't know. We'll see. We're more into a freeform conversation now.
This feels me with rage.
So Xbox announced this week that they are raising prices across the board. Games, hardware, and accessories, all going up. Now, it's a number of reasons, but we're going to bring the Xbox support blog that they've posted. Pricing updates announced May 1st, 2025. As of May 1st, we have adjusted recommended retailer pricing for our consoles and controllers worldwide. We also expect adjusting the pricing of some of our new first-party games starting this holiday season to $79.99 American USD. Those titles purchased on the Xbox Store have the benefit of Xbox Play Anywhere, allowing players to buy once and play on console and PC at no additional cost. We understand that these changes are challenging, and they were made with careful consideration given market conditions and rising cost of development. Looking ahead, we continue to focus on offering more ways to play more games across any screen and ensuring value for Xbox players. Now, I'm going to go over some of the price increases. Obviously, we're changing from $70 games to $80 games on some first-party titles they mentioned. And we could talk a little bit about that here in a second. I want to start with updated prices on consoles. I'm going to start with the European prices. I'm just giving you the new prices. When we get to the American stuff, I'm going to give what they were and the updated one, but just the updated ones for Europe and United Kingdom. Is this right?
That's the wrong. That's
the American one. For the European one, the Xbox Series S 1 terabyte is now €399.99, and the Xbox Series X base model with the disc drive is now $599 euros and 99 cents.
Yep.
Is that the other thing?
Pence,
I don't know. Cents, whatever. $599.99. And then And then price of controllers. Xbox Wireless Controller Core is $64.99. And then heading over to the United Kingdom, Xbox Series S 1 terabyte, $349.99. Xbox Series X with the disc drive, $499.99. And then the controller core, $59.99. I assume you know what that means based off of your own individual territories. Respect?
We're Americans.
We're Americans. We're going to focus on the American thing. So the same things, Xbox, and I'm also going to assume it's pretty one for one. increase, at least percentage-wise. I don't know. Inflation markets
Tariffs now as well.
Which I don't believe that this is a reaction to that.
It is not.
Xbox Series S 1 terabyte is now $430, previously $350, so that is an $80 increase. The Xbox Series X base model is $600, previously $500. That's a $100 increase. And Xbox wireless control special. Where's the core? Core.
There we go.
Core is $65 from $60, so a $5 increase. It's worth noting most other versions of the controllers are a $10 increase. The Xbox Elite Wireless Control Series 2 core, previously $130 to $140, is now $150, so a $10 to $20 increase on that. And then Xbox headsets also a $10. So for accessories and controllers, you're looking anywhere from $5 to like $20, $30 increases depending on different models and makes that you were taking part in.
So we've kind of seen this coming from a mile away.
Nintendo Switch 2 was a great
indicator of that.
Of that happening.
It's also a great indicator of how scummy these companies ultimately are, because in that case, it was this great fanfare. Look at all these cool games we got.
And it's not just Microsoft. It's not just Nintendo, right? It's the companies that they have to buy materials from also jacking up their prices.
Yeah, prices
it's a domino effect, and we're just on the receiving end of it all.
And it's greedflation.
Yeah.
It's and they bookended that Switch with, well, they didn't actually. It was found out afterwards. Oh, there's all these price increases, and nobody was happy. And I remember when they raised the price of games to $70. If you remember, it was the first people to do it were, funny enough, EA. Yeah. 2K, yes. Regarding NBA
2K,
something, whatever.
2021.
Yeah, something like that. And they were like, it's especially egregious for that case because they make tons and tons of money regardless.
Oh, yeah.
They were the first ones to say, well, let's put it up to 70. The moment they did that, it's just the floodgates opened.
Yep.
It's just like, oh, we can start doing that now. People are going to be complacent. And they were. We still buy games at $70 an hour, $70 for day one release. And people were kind of hoping, okay, that's going to be it. Clearly, it is not.
It should have been it.
It should have been it.
Even me, who understood the inflation of things and has been forgiving of it and understanding of it, even though inflation is happening across the board and wages aren't going up with it. So, like, everything's costing more and we don't have more money to play with to buy these things.
Exactly, yeah.
And at the end of the day, video games are toys.
Yeah.
We can have a conversation about the art of them all day long. I love those conversations. These are not essential items.
Mm-hmm.
I need food in my fridge. I need the electricity on. I need air conditioning if I'm going to survive in a Texas heat storm. And for a lot of reasons, I need internet and things. Video games are not a necessity. I don't need to buy a $70, $80 now video game for this.
No.
And so I agree with you. The $80 is crossing a line.
And I think this is hard to do because consumerism, people aren't really unified, especially if you go to other countries. But I think gamers should seriously start considering boycotting things, not buying to the degree they did.
Now, that's not going to help. That's not going to help this layoff situation that we
certainly
are
not
conscious of.
But as always is the case, it doesn't seem like it's never going to help. Even if games are succeeding, you can still have people get laid off. Spider-Man, for example.
I mean, as severe as these layoffs are, like, they could be more.
They could be.
It could be worse.
But at what point are you going to say that is like the best excuse of, oh, well, it should be on the consumer's end of things to float the employees,
You're right,
rather than just the companies maybe taking their executives having a pay cut? Because we know my big issue is I know those guys make tons and tons of money regardless of how good the company's doing.
I saw a headline, somebody took a pay cut this week, and I don't remember who.
Or was it? See, that's good because I don't often see that. And that's the only time I would give a company leeway if they do that and then they say, hey, we got to cut these jobs. But that's not what happens.
Yeah.
And so, once again, with rising prices across the board, how are you expecting people to continue to buy games to the degree that they are and smile while they do it? I mean, I know there are always going to be people that do it because, people they're consumerists. We live in a consumer culture, and that makes it to where people will buy things even if it's against their best interest. Like, I don't need to get the new Switch. I don't.
No.
I have tons of other games to play on other consoles alone than buying a $500 or $450 console that maybe shouldn't be so much.
In 2020, 2021, it looks like EA boss Andrew Wilson got a $20 million pay cut.
EA, you said?
EA, Andrew Wilson,
Okay.
who's the CEO of that back in 2021.
That's good.
I mean, he took it, and $20 million is not a, you know, that was fucking, I'm never going to make $20 million in my lifetime. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to say never, but, you know.
Most likely not. But, I mean, that's a good example to follow, but, you know, that's just not the standard. So, and until that becomes the standard, like I said, can't give them that much leeway. And also, I get the executive, I'm the CEO, but there's also a number of other people.
Also, like,
millions of dollars off
billionaires
these things.
and arguably millionaires should not exist.
Millionaires, I definitely think they should.
Oh, yeah, there's a big difference between $1 million and $1 billion. There's a big difference between
Kind of hard.
that.
I don't think some people realize just how big
Oh, it's
of a
huge.
difference
I mean,
that
it's
is.
hard for the human brain to, like,
Calculate that much,
conceptualize it, like, you know, like, so it's just hard to see that a billionaire should not exist. Period. Point blank.
Yeah, a
I mean,
trillionaire.
fucking if somebody becomes a trillionaire, we need to riot, and you know, heads need to roll.
Ew. Well, you know,
Not you going ew, and you were saying
what I say? What I say?
No,
I just said. I just was gonna say you're gonna hear a knock on the door in about 5 hours.
Oh yeah,
Not really.
yeah.
We're too small. But yeah, you know, okay, you're gonna hate this.
Okay,
I think we should start raising the flag.
a flag
Oh, the flag.
of what?
When is a flag usually raised in like a general societal?
What flag are we talking about?
Like not a flag of surrender, not a flag of war, but a flag of let's say privateering.
What are you saying?
Let's
I
say
genuinely don't know where you're going.
A flag, it may have one, maybe two, maybe three bones on it. Two of the same kind, one of a special kind of bone.
Got it.
You know,
Got it.
You're not leaving many
There's
options to a lot of people.
skull and crossbones flag. Gotcha.
Yeah, well, I didn't say that. You're saying that.
Don't they normally have a fucking skull on those?
I never.
Maybe,
I said
maybe a hat of a certain.
I said
of
there's
a hat,
bones on them.
Maybe a hat of a certain C word position.
Straw hat, yes.
Straw hat?
A straw hat on there, right?
Why is it straw?
Can a captain not wear a straw hat and be
I mean,
very
it'd
definitive about their nature?
It'd be strange. It would be a strange choice.
I figured you would get that. Straw hat. You're whatever. Anyway, there's a lot of people who don't make money. That's an option that's sounding a lot more viable. Let's just say that. Raising a flag that is nondescript in the type of bones that are on it.
I believe this industry produces phenomenal art. I believe
Yes.
phenomenal art should be supported.
Should be.
And I think if you have the opportunity to, you should support that art.
Yes.
And I would rather you support that art than experience it for free. Because somebody worked hard on that art.
What are you talking about?
Somebody worked hard on that art, and you should respect the artists.
I don't know what this guy's talking about,
You know?
but yeah, they should respect the artist and pay whenever possible. Otherwise, just don't pay.
I mean, if we are to bow to the whims of capitalism,
You got to circumvent.
then you don't got to circumvent it. You know,
Oh, you do, because then you're no longer bowing down to it.
this would be easier if just heads rolled, Connor. I would rather heads roll.
sounds
than-
way more difficult.
but we got to be specific with who's rolling heads. You know, we got to. You know, have I ever told you who my favorite Mario brother is?
So I'm going to stop you right there. Because, to be honest, there is no evidence. Like, I know what you
No
think,
hard evidence. Yeah.
but like some details came out recently because you're
Yeah.
talking about.
Oh yeah, they don't have a solid case, but
Well, there was evidence. There seemingly is like it's coming out. Like I think Discovery that there was some planting. Like there's a cop who arrested him, like had access to his backpack and like took it and then like brought it back. Or
Okay,
something
but we
like
likely. I mean, like. Okay, I mean, we can have like in terms of court of law. I don't think they have anything on this guy.
that. Yeah,
But this is the guy, right?
there really is like we don't know because we don't know even how they found him. And now the theory I've heard is they use some sort of like massive breach of personal protection,
You think
personal
to
identity.
calm the people? To not calm but placate the people.
They didn't
They just said, all right, let's just put this guy. Let's just grab this guy.
possibly. I mean, like either that they placed it on somebody who had an issue with the healthcare industry, and they just said, hey, let's put it on him. And then the other bit, which
They
is
went
that
and found a guy.
exactly, and also again, they could have done like some eye in the sky spying device that made them find him where he is, and they can't exactly come out and say that's how we found him, and no, it's him.
No, because then it impedes on our
personal privacy or privacy rights. So
interesting.
Regardless,
you know who my
I just like the concept of Luigi.
Right. Yeah. The concept of Luigi is really what I'm going here. The idea of him is really what I'm going here for. But support the art
when you can.
Support the arts. Encourage Luigi's
when you can.
When you can.
I don't know what we're talking about.
So let's talk about Xbox's choice here to do this. Now we both don't think that this is a tariff thing, because if it was a tariff thing, they would say it's a tariff thing.
Yeah.
This is them reacting to the industry, reacting to the landscape, and I mean, let's be honest, things are just more expensive to produce, and I believe them when they say the costs of everything is going up, and so that needs to reflect that. The problem is that the wages need to reflect that as well. That's where the problem is.
And they don't.
Things can go up, but my money got to go up as well. You know what I'm saying? You got to give me a bag for you to get a bag. You know what I'm saying? So like that's the problem here. $100 increase for an Xbox Series X base model for 5+ year old technology.
See, I think that's indicative of Xbox no longer going to have like new consoles. Like they're done. Because
I think we're getting one more out of them.
You think so?
I think we're getting one more out of them.
I think with the fact that we know,
but I think it's going to be like it's going to be in the sense of like, you do, but like the producers of different PC parts or pre-built PCs or anything like that, that doesn't matter as much as like the specs of the thing. I think Xbox turns into that, where like Xbox is just a gaming console. They're probably gonna the next time around produce a third SKU of Xboxes that like you have to develop for and so forth. I do think they need to relent on, if it comes to the Series X, it comes to the lower form of console as well, and they just need to be like, hey, we're just gonna produce a new console every 3 years. No, it's not going to be a massive jump, but they aren't a massive jump anyway, and then we're going to produce them for cheaper.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And we do have that handheld console that they're definitely working on.
Apparently.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely. I think Xbox is planning on diversifying the set of hardware that they produce. I think that's a smart idea. It's just from a traditional console standpoint, it looks like they're just killing themselves. In front of us, right? That's what it looks like. And this is another sign of that, where it's just like, fucking, okay, I'm definitely not buying an Xbox now. I mean, I haven't wanted to buy it for a while.
And
but
maybe that's why
there was a period of time before they took the walls down. And Connor, this is the year that they would have benefited the most of the last like 10 years of having the exclusivity wall up. South of Midnight, Doom the Dark Ages. They could have struck an exclusivity deal with Claire Obscure Expedition 33, Oblivion Remastered. We had Starfield last year before.
Yeah.
And they got more coming down the pipeline that I've already forgotten. Avowed, Outer Worlds 2. This is a great year for Xbox, and if I didn't know all of these things were coming to my PlayStation, I would be buying an Xbox for it, right? But they made choices.